So, how is everybody doing these days? Is it worth talking about myself anymore, if ever it was? And, is it worth talking about life in Tokyo? Is it worth complaining? Is it worth telling you about the labels on my bread from the supermarket, and that I discovered what's actually in it and why it doesn't go bad in the summer and why it makes my tongue swollen when I eat it? Is it worth talking about how since I stopped drinking alcohol when I decided just for the first time in a long while to have a not cheap beer from an import beer in a glass bottle, that after 2 sips of it, it tasted horrible. And when I read the label and I saw it had flavoring in it, I dumped it and I just couldn't drink it. And is it worth talking about the fact that when I look, I don't have a crystal ball, but like when I look into the future, if you will, and when I'm saying the future, I mean like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months into the future, into my next semester, schedule of classes, because this semester is almost really over. More than half my classes just finished this week, and I have just a couple more next week. Each university has a different timetable. That when I look into the future in my mind's eye, there's nothing there. It's just like a black hole. I don't even see those classes happening. Not because I'm planning to skip out on them, but I just really wonder if it's going to happen. Is it worth going back to this prophecy that everyone said was wrong for July 5th? And to remind people, if you will, that what Tatsuki Ryo said was that the dream was, she saw the dream on July 5th, and that she said, if the date that I had the dream is the date on which this will occur, then it will occur on July 5th. But it may just be the month of July 2025, or somewhere thereabouts. And may I just say, or shall I just remind viewers, that the other day Alaska had a 7.2 earthquake, I think, and that volcanoes in Japan and elsewhere have been going off one after another. Iceland had an eruption and they had to evacuate the other day. The Ring of Fire is awake, and Japan's right there. So is there a future, even like a near future for me, for us? Do I need to talk about the fact that the far right in Japan is gaining ground because the economy is flailing, and that on August 1st we'll have a 25% tariff from the US thanks to Trump, and that the foreigners will be the first ones targeted in these right-wing campaigns, and that it's Japan first, which is like taking after Trump's, America first thing, right? And we know what happened and what's happening with ICE in the US to immigrants and foreigners. I don't No. Is it worth talking about any of this? Why? Does it change anything? You know, and I keep saying again and again that I have been seeing these things for some time, for at least as far back as 2022. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a seer with a capital S. But I just, you pay attention a bit, and starting at least with the, as far back as the invasion of Ukraine, certainly. And of course, it goes way, 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 way back, and we had COVID. I think before COVID, I was not quite as attuned to these things. I was too much into myself and my depression and my, I had a girlfriend and we were always drinking, and I still am, but I was doing music in Fukuoka with friends, and I was in a very different headspace then. But after coming to Tokyo and breaking up and having COVID, and then Ukraine in February 22, my music really shifted in the message, if you will. It's not like an intentional message, but just, it was something unavoidable. I had written songs that had some political things a bit before, but mostly not as much, more dealing with my own depression, or kind of some of the themes I still deal with. I mean, life and death, yin and yang, light and dark. Buddhist themes a bit, but more so after. Trump is sick, right? They announced it, so what does that mean? Vance is going to be president? And who's behind Vance? Peter Thiel? I don't know, man. I don't know. I did an album about what it means to be human in 2023. And look at where AI has taken us. Look at where technology has taken us. Whether or not I have classes in the fall from October in Japan, is when the semester starts, beginning of October. Some of my students they can't do critical thinking. In some of my classes at some of my universities, I won't say which or what, I'm not, but it's like, it's harder and harder to teach literature in many ways, and students don't read books either. So they have no sort of background in it to begin with. They're not self-motivated to read. That's what I mean. I mean, it's like if you're taking lit classes and you're intrigued and not just reading in English, even reading in Japanese, the students don't read. Everything is SNS and, scrolling, instant dopamine bursts, and that's it. Music is like this too. Art is like this too. Film is like this too. I saw an article the other day complaining about how the films that are being nominated are just like so obvious, and there's no, no room for interpretation. It's like driving the point home again and again to make it so obvious that there's no way anyone could misinterpret it. But that's not life either. It's like we have to have the answer for everything, when in fact that's not real either. And really, honestly, communication is not happening. Deep thinking is not happening. Tolerance is gone. Relationships are impossible. I haven't had anything. Just all this time spent alone. And thank God for music and these talks. That's it, man. And I've been going through, I always do, but I've been going through, like listening again to things that I hadn't listened to in a while. Mainly I'm talking about my own material, but I mean other things too, by artists I like, but also my own material. And I went back today and listened to my bricolages from, I think I released at the beginning of last year, but it's from the 2020, 2021, the COVID material years, 2022, and then 2023 in 2 parts. And maybe I'll do 2024, 2025 bricolage, because I really like them. A lot of material there, and so it's just like a selection with some of it's layered as what I call palimpsest, and some of it's just tracks that flow into each other as like suites, like Leon suites kind of thing. They kind of flow, but it's material I had released separately, and it gives a good overview of those periods and those years and the feel for the things. And I sort of recall the time when I listened to them and what I was doing in my headspace and some of the things, and leave something behind, even if there's no one to listen to it or to really engage with it, which is a shame in a way, but I don't know. I made it for me, I guess, really, I say I guess, I mean I made it for me, didn't I? If anyone's interested, that's great. But I mean, everyone interprets things their own way anyway. What it means to me and what it sounds like to me and what it makes me think about would be totally different from anyone else anyway, right? Which is good. I mean, that's what I'm talking about literature too. We all interpret, we bring our own ideas to the table, or we should. It's not, asking ChatGPT to give us the answer is giving away our autonomy and losing our humanity. That's what the album To Be Human was about. 2 years ago I did that. And it's just worse now. People on the trains don't look at each other. More and more people have been running into me at the train stations. Used to be, like people just running for their trains. It can happen, but now they run for their trains, but they're also looking at their phone as they're running. So it's like, watch out, they're like coming at you. And if you're not paying attention, they'll just slam into you and they won't apologize. And on the trains themselves, it's this, holding the, or just this. Some guy was coughing. He was on his phone and had headphones on. He was like coughing onto me, and I couldn't move because it was crowded, and he, no mask, and no one cares about anybody else. I mean, like not even, considerate. And this is Japan. Older people tend to be more considerate, but younger generation, forget it. Japanese and non-Japanese. Actually, some of the non-Japanese might be less rude in some cases. It just depends. But we have the right-wingers possibly taking power. They want to take away benefits from foreigners, and I've been here off and on for over 30 years. I have permanent residency, and I pay into pension and taxes and everything, and they want to take it away maybe because Japan first or Japanese first, right? So here we go. There's no future, man. I mean, whatever. I'm single. There's no one who's going to cry if I just died tomorrow, basically. I don't think. Maybe a few people would be sad for 5 minutes, but, like my family or something. But I mean, at home, who I haven't seen since 2018. But I don't think anyone, again, is it even worth talking about myself in these talks? Who cares, right? It's not. The listener wants to know, too, like, how does this relate to my way of thinking? If someone can relate to what I'm saying, then maybe they'll listen and even give me a thumbs up. But if not, right, why do I need to talk about myself? I'm not a famous person. No one's living vicariously through my world, I don't think. I hope not. I hope not. Why would anyone choose to do that? Can't imagine. So I've had my eyes closed the whole time. I've just been tired lately, and like I feel like Stevie Wonder or something. Not making fun of him, I love Stevie Wonder, but I might play the acoustic too tonight a bit. I have to get the tuner though, because I haven't touched it in at least a week, maybe more. The last live show I did last week was it's Friday, wasn't it? I think that was I used the electric for that and other gadgets. I didn't use the acoustic, so I haven't touched the acoustic in over a week. I played the piano the other night for my daughter's birthday. She hasn't seen it yet. She didn't see my message, apparently. So, you know, we don't communicate with each other anymore, even family. Nothing. The most I talk with my family is on SNS. I think we've lost the plot here. Kind of, you know, I envision my death every day, every night. Very Buddhist in a way. The Buddhists, they have a meditation like in India used to, like where monks would go to the cemetery and, you know, like they burn the bodies, you know, cremate them, have like a pie or something, and then like, so the monk or in India, you know, the sannyasin or whatever, I guess it's a monk or a mendicant or a seeker, whatever you want to call this person, would go and sit and meditate on death by meditating on the body. They did this in other cultures too, but I think it originated in India, which is where Buddhism comes from, actually. And, you know, contemplate one's own death. Well, I don't, you know, obviously I'm not doing this, but I think about it every day, every night, not with fear, but just like training myself to sort of let go when the time comes, because the earthquake could hit any moment, or a bomb could drop any moment, or anything can really happen anyway. But I don't really see a future anymore. This is in my lyrics from several years ago, if you go back and listen. Using the Bowie outside frame again, you know, oh Ramona, what happened to the future? Where is the future gone? And so on. And so from 2 years ago, I've been already putting that in my lyrics, and it's, you know, just get used to the idea and be prepared when it comes, and just don't panic, huh? I don't really see a future anymore. Can't even imagine what that would look like with the way we had flooding in Tokyo last week, flooding in New Jersey, my hometown, on the news, and flooding in South Korea, people dying, volcanoes exploding, earthquakes, and Project 2025 and ICE and the planned AI takeover. I don't think that's conspiracy theory anymore. I really don't. So what the hell is there to live for? You just live day by day, moment by moment, and be ready for whatever comes. Because it's coming, whatever the hell it is. For all of us, probably, in one way or another. I've certainly given up on having like a girlfriend, a family, anything like this. I have a family, I have a daughter who I talk to once in a while. Lucky for that. Be thankful for what you have. I'm gonna play some songs on the acoustic after I tune it, and then I'll turn off for now. Thanks. Be well. It's my talk.